Gambling. We all know what it is. It's been a part of human existence since humans have been a thing. The Greeks and Romans wrote about games of chance, and dice have been found in Egyptian tombs dating from 3000 BC. But you're not here for a history lesson. You want to know how you can beat the odds and win at gambling. Now before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and gamble with the algorithm, because when you hit that like button, we all win. Alright, to get started, let's take a look at a roulette table. Now since I'm American, I'll be using an American roulette table, but the only real difference is the European has only one zero space as opposed to the 0 and 00 found on American tables. So roulette has numbers 1 to 36, each colored red or black, and a 0 or 00 colored green, giving you a total of 38 possible numbers to land on. So if you bet on, say, 0, you have a 1 in 38 chance or a 2.6% chance of landing on it. These odds are the same for every individual number. So you could bet on 17 or 19 or 2, it doesn't matter, they will always be 2.6% chance. Although you're not here for the long shot. You're here to win, and for that you need a selection with the best odds. So you'll see on the outside are options to bet on groups like the first, second, or third groups, even numbers, reds, blacks, whatever. You think that betting on red or odd numbers would at least give you a 50-50 shot, but you'd be wrong. I'm sure you've heard the old saying, the house always wins. Well, a casino ideally always has a slight edge so that they make money in the long run. In this case, by betting on red, you have an 18 out of 38, or a 47.3% chance. This is because you have to consider the zero spaces in the odds as well. These odds hold true for any of the 50-50 selections, so an even bet or an odd bet will also be 47.3% chance because you are considering the 0 and 00 in the chances as well. Well, since you're always at a losing percentage, how do we use this in our favor? Well, your betting strategy needs to assume you will lose, and even lose more often than you win. You can't assume you're going to win most of the time because you won't. So let me break it down for you. Alright, so let's take a look at this table here. You see it's an American table. It's got 2 zeros, so it's American roulette. We've got a bunch of betting options, but the one we're going to pay attention to is these 50-50 ones. So for this, you'll see we've got different betting amounts. Our min-max, like say hot numbers. We have $5,000 cash. All right, keep that in mind as we go through that. Okay, first bet, $1 on black, and spin. All right, where is it landing?
The winning number is 21 red.
Okay, so we lost that one. You'll see we've lost $1. What do we do? Well, this method, we repeat our bet and then double it. You'll see why in a second. Spin it again.
The winning number is 21 red.
Alright, we lost that one too. So what do we do? Keep our same bet and double it. Just bear with me. Just stick it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Spinning.
The winning number is 34 red.
Alright, 3 in a row. Okay, so once again, keeping that bet and doubling it. Spinning.
The winning number is 8 black.
Now that we've won, if we look down at our total, $5,001. How did I do that? Well, it's pretty simple. So the initial bet was $1, which we lost. The next bet was $2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Next bet was $4. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. And so on and so forth. You're always betting one less than you'll actually win. So at the end of the day, you're going to come out ahead. So let me see if I can demonstrate again. So we'll spin one more time here. Or maybe 2 more times, we'll see.
The winning number is
Red.
30 red.
Alright, so now we've lost $1. Right now we've bet $1. So I'm going to keep it, double it. That's $2 plus 1. We're now in the hole for $3.
The winning number is 24 black.
In the hole for $3, and we won $4. And that's basically how the system works. No matter what happens, if you double your bet, you will come out ahead your initial bet. Now you can imagine if you keep this up over time, you could come out a great deal ahead. Why is that though? Well, it all comes down to probability. In this case, we got red 3 times. Our probability of getting red is 18 out of 38 or 47.3%. But the probability of getting red twice in a row is 324 out of 1,444 or 22.4%. And if we go to 3 times in a row, it gets even worse at 5,832 out of 54,872 or 10.6%. You see the pattern. The more times we land on red, the less the probability it is that we land on red again. But the probability of landing on black scales up in the opposite direction the more turns there are. Using this, the probability that we will eventually win gets greater if we continue to bet on the same initial space. All we have to do is continue to double our bet, and we'll eventually recover our losses plus the initial bet as profit. There is a problem though. If at any point we land on green, or 0, that probability of landing on red resets back to its initial 47.3%. This isn't a huge deal because our probability of landing on black still continues to scale in our favor until we land on black. So if we continue our betting strategy, we will come out ahead eventually even if we lose multiple times. Using this method, the win-loss ratio is still in favor of the house. However, our betting strategy ensures us that even though our win percentage is small, we still come out ahead. So, I know at this point you're thinking, wow, Chris, this is really good. You know, I'm ready to go to Vegas right now. However, I have a confession. Everything I told you, yeah, it won't work. Now, I didn't clickbait you because you can come out ahead using the strategy, but not long term. Those probabilities I listed just now are technically accurate. In fact, that's the reason why casinos list those numbers there to show what has been rolled before. It's all a trick. It's to trick you in thinking about these probabilities. When we look at the numbers in a series like this, the probabilities are correct. The problem is the roulette ball and wheel are just objects. They don't know about those other numbers. All it does is spin. So as far as the ball and wheel are concerned, each spin is the first spin in the series. It makes no difference what was landed on before, as each spin is independent of all the others. So what does this mean? Well, what it means is that each time you bet on the same space, your odds of winning are exactly the same every single time. Those 50-50 spaces will always be 47.3% no matter how many times they're landed on. What does this mean for our strategy? Luckily, not a whole lot, because if your probability of winning is 47.3%, theoretically out of 100 spins, you will lose about 53 times and win 47 times. But if you make $1 each time you win while also covering your losses, at the end of those 100 spins, you theoretically will have $47. Now, I'm just using $1 for ease of doing math and explaining. You could bet anything you want to. You could do $5, $10, whatever. If you did $10 at the end of it, you would have $470. Theoretically, of course. I know now you're thinking, wow, Chris, I really am ready to go to Vegas now because you said it wasn't true, and now you said it kind of is true. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna go anyway. It sounds like a good plan. I I have another confession. Yeah, you guessed it, it won't work. See, what I've been describing is known as the martingale method. It's named for John Martingale, who advocated its use in his casinos during the 18th century. Now, with a limitless budget, you will eventually come out on top, but in real life, no one has a limitless budget. Even if you did, there's something called betting limits. Every casino has them because they know about this method, and they know that you will take money if you do this. So every casino has betting limits. Now, what's a betting limit? You'll notice that a lot of these tables you see in casinos have what might be, let's just say, 1 to 1,000, 1 to 2,000, 1 to 5,000, 10 to 5,000, whatever. A 1 to 1,000 limit means that the lowest bet you can make is $1, while the highest bet is 1,000. The thing is, even that 1,000 might be split. You might only have a limit of $500 on the individual numbers and $500 on the outside bets, or the 50-50 ones we were looking at. So if starting with $1, we would hit $512 bets within 10 losses. So if you lost 9 or 10 times in a row, you're going to hit that limit within that span of time. At that time, you can't do the system anymore and you will lose money. That's the problem with this method, is that you do have a finite stopping point. Now, if you only have losses to a certain point, it might work. The problem is, if you get on a losing streak, you're going to lose big time, because keep in mind, each time you bet, you're also taking into account the money you've lost. So if you're at turn 2, you've bet $1, now you're betting $2. You got to have at least $3 in hand to do it. In this instance of betting $512 at the end, you need to have at least $1,023 on hand to make it to that 10-turn point. Now, if you were to continue on, of course, it'd be even higher. The turn after that 512 would be $1,024. The turn after that would be $2,048, and so on and so forth. So you can start needing a huge pocketbook really quick once you get to a certain point. But even then, the casino has limits, and you won't even be allowed to go to that point. You'll just be out several hundred or several $1,000s with no way to complete your system and regain your losses. So what's the moral of the story? I personally think that outside of some specific situations, you could look at professional poker maybe. Gambling is entertainment and not really a viable money-making method. However, it can be fun, and if you gamble, consider the money that you go to gamble with lost already. So if you go in with $100, let's just consider that gone already when you walk in. That way you can have fun, and if you lose that $100, well, you already knew it was gone. But if you say you make $20, you walk out with $120, that's just gravy. I mean, that's just a bonus. If you're watching this, that means you made it to the end. I really do appreciate it, and it means a lot knowing that this video was informative and interesting enough for you to watch all the way through. Subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of different types of videos. I'll do more like this if people seem to like it. Be sure to comment below and let me know if you want me to do more videos like this. If not, just leave a comment and let me know that you watched all the way to the end, and I'll see you next time.